Holy enormous front wheel, Batman! Hello there and welcome back to Build with the Boys. We now have the quite frankly massive part 2 of Hachette's Build the Batman Tumbler. Now our subscription hasn't arrived yet, so we picked this one up in store because I'm kind of a child and I'm very excited about this build, so I don't want to wait. I don't mind having duplicates, I certainly don't mind having a duplicate of the wheel. But this one is the last one at the introductory price, so this one is priced at $6.99 and then it will be going up to the regular $10.99 in 2 weeks' time. So in this one there's not loads to do. We are building the very first of 6 wheels on the Tumbler, and it's a bloody big wheel, as all the wheels are. This is the front, if I'm right, front passenger side, if there was a passenger side to this. No, it's not driver's side. It's weird, because he kind of, I don't know, he moves around. If you're facing this way, front left, that's the one we're doing. So let's get this open, let's get this built. Okay, so here is everything we get inside pack 2. We do get a nice sort of mix of materials here. The inner hub here is plastic. The main wheel, metal. And we do have this bloody enormous, I mean, look at the size of this thing. That's ridiculous. On the Pepsi can scale, so you got some point of reference. You can see it's about half a Pepsi can. This is a bloody big wheel. This is the biggest wheel I've ever had. But you can see it's wider than a Pepsi can. Bloody big. Right, now, you may think, does it matter which way the wheel goes? It does matter which way the wheel goes. It genuinely does. So, I'm hoping the camera's going to pick this up well for you. What you will see here is a wide tread, see the width, and a small tread. Okay? So that thin tread there is going to go this way around. And we're going to take our wheel here, and we're going to push that in. So the thin tread, not the fat, the thin tread goes to the outside. Okay? And I'm going to push that all the way down. So that's how we're looking at this point. So it does matter. It does matter which way around these go, and that's how you're going to tell. So you've got thin tread along here, wide tread along here, thin tread to the outside. Okay. So with that being done, we're going to flip this one over, and you will see we have 3 holes. Here, here, and here, and we're going to take our hub here and we're going to line it up against those 3 holes. So push that one all the way down. Just a massive wheel. Okay, so that's that one in, and now what we're going to do is we're going to fix that in place, stay, with 3 CM screws. Now because it's CM, I am going to be using 3-in-1 oil. So whenever I use screws that go into metal, I use 3-in-1 oil. I just touch the tip of the screw in the 3-in-1 and it just makes this transition so much easier. It saves you shearing off a screw head or having to, you know, screw it in reverse and blow swarf off. You don't do any of that. Okay, so let's get the first one in. That's one. Now because this is a plastic outer rim, don't go mad, don't overscrew these because you'll crack the plastic thing that's holding it. So you need it nice and firm, but don't go so hard that you're destroying the plastic that you're going into on the outer edge. It's 2. 3-in-1 oil just makes it so much easier, it really does. And here is number 3. Just going in there. Tighten these all up. Now we've got that in. And there we have it. We have our wheel complete. So you've got the little valve there. This thing's beautiful. We are left with some pieces. So we are left with this washer here, this hubcap here, and I will show you the hubcap loosely placed in because I don't want to push it in because I don't want to have to pry it back out. But that's it with the hubcap in. We will be doing that in stage 4. So there's no real rush to do that now, but you are going to have to put these somewhere safe. So pop them, I'd say, in your screw bag or something like that, what's going to keep them safe. But that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, is stage 2 complete. It's over very quickly, but my God, is that a beautiful wheel. And this is, you can feel this is rubber. So it feels nice, it feels good. It feels solid, man. I mean, it is ridiculous. But what a beautiful thing. Over so quick. We wait so long and it's over so quick. But let's have a chat. So that's that one done. It's over real quick. But it is massive. And as I said, it does matter which way your tread goes. So make sure you check the thin tread is for your outer edge. That's your outer rim. But the weight of this is ridiculous. And it makes me wonder how those arms that are going to hold these on are going to cope. Because this is certainly sturdy enough to take weight. But how good's that arm going to be? I don't know. We'll find out because that's coming in part 4. But what is coming in part 3 is... We've seen this before. We've seen this on the trials. But that's what's coming in part 3. So that is the... it's the front panel of the passenger compartment. It's the windscreen, essentially, is what it is. So the bit we made in the first one... if you've seen the movie, which I'd imagine you have, in Dark Knight, and also in Batman Begins, where he goes down into the car, so the chair moves and he shifts forwards in. There's 2 windscreens, so we can look out at the front, the nose piece. But where he normally looks out of is what we'll be building in the next one. In part 4, we will be getting the brake disc and the arm that's going to hold the wheel. I have got somewhere. They sent a piece of marketing blurb with this, which I've misplaced. That comes with, I mean, it's just still trying to push the subscription at this point. So it shows that if you subscribe from part 3, you'll get part 4 free, and it shows what comes in part 4, which is literally the arm that holds the wheel. But in part 3, in 2 weeks' time, it will be available. This is available in stores now. My subscription hasn't turned up yet, as I said. So when it does, I will have another one of these, and I'm fine with that because I have an idea of what I'd like to do with spare wheels. But I won't be buying any more from the store, so I will be waiting for my subscription to catch up. And that will be February, is when we will have parts 3 and 4 of the Tumbler. I say that, I can resist everything except temptation. If I see this in the store, it's going to be bloody hard for me not to buy it, I'll be honest with you, but we'll see. 3 and 4 are due to ship on the 4th of February. So we'll see. 1 and 2 have of your subs have been shipped, so those should be with you any day. I mean, they might turn up today, it might be tomorrow, it might be Friday, it might be Monday, but any day now, your subs are going to be dropping on your doorstep if you have subscribed to this. If you are just sticking around for the instructions, thank you for stopping by. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you are sticking around for a little bit more, those of you that watch my Titanic build were familiar with this concept. We have a bit of a chat at the end of Titanic, where we tell Titanic tales. And this one we're having Dark Knight discussions. And there'll be a different topic for each part. And we will be doing a look at Arkham inmates. And today we'll be doing the inaugural one, and we'll be talking about some of the lesser known characters. So if you're expecting kind of Batman and Riddler, and I'll do them at some point, but no, Batman's got a massive rogues gallery, a huge rogues gallery of villains that just don't get screen time. They just don't. You don't see them, but some of them are fantastic. But it seems to be there's 4 villains that take up all the screen time. So the bulk of people, that's all they know. So you typically, in Batman movies, you'll get Joker, Riddler, Penguin, possibly Two-Face. That's about it. And that's all that happens. Occasionally you'll get one of the others. But not enough. Now, the one I want to talk about today has been in a movie, and that was in a very big profile movie, but the portrayal of him was completely different to the character. It was a complete nope. He's been on screen twice, and the character we're talking about is Bane, and this is what he looks like in the comic books. So Bane was from a country called Santa Prisca, which is a fictitious South American country. Unlike Marvel, DC have fictitious places like Gotham and Metropolis, places like that. Santa Prisca was the same. It was down South America, so you think Bolivia, places like that. And he was the son of a villain, another Batman villain called King Snake. You didn't find that out until much later on, but he was. And he managed to escape the judicial system. So King Snake was tried for his crimes, managed to escape. So Santa Prisca decided that the sins of the father would be carried out by the child. So the infant Bane was put into jail to serve his father's sentence. So Bane grew up in jail. He spent his whole life there as a child, and many of his years as a young adult in prison. But whilst he was there, he consumed knowledge. So he got his hands on every book he get his hands on. He read all of them. So he read on every subject you could imagine. In the time he wasn't reading, he was in the gym working out, which is why he's as big as he is. And he learned from other inmates as well. And one of the inmates there was a Jesuit priest who gave him a classical education. So Bane is really, really intelligent. He could speak English, Spanish, Portuguese, Persian, Urdu, Latin. Crazy intelligent. And also honed his fighting skills in jail, which were completely necessary. The jail he was in was called Pena Duro. It was like a vile, really nasty prison. And he grew up amongst all the criminals there and learned from them as well. So he learned different skills from them and had to defend himself. When he was 8 years old, he committed his first murder at 8. And he always carried around with him a little teddy bear called Osito. And Osito means little bear. So he used this little brown teddy bear he carried everywhere with him. It wasn't in the movie. I was kind of expecting to see it. Someone sat in the background somewhere, but it wasn't. He had a little brown teddy bear called Osito he carried everywhere with him. And at first you think that's quite cute until you find out Osito's got a hole in the back of him that Bane kept a knife in. So that's why he was always carrying the bear, because he was actually carrying around this carving knife that was inside of it. During his whole time there, he was tormented. So his sleep was bad because every night he would have dreams of this monstrous bat attacking him every night for like 20 years. Just this monstrous bat would appear in his dreams and attack him, which is ominous. He became a test subject for the venom drug whilst he was in prison. Other prisoners had died, but Bane had risen up through the ranks and become king of Pena Duro. So the venom drug is what is being fed into Bane from the pumps on his back. Is where he goes into the mask. That's what's feeding him. It makes him stronger, it makes him bigger, makes him stronger, makes him faster, improves his healing ability. However, he needs to take it, I think it's every 12 hours, or crippling side effects kick in. So he's like an addict, basically. If he's not getting this stuff, if it's not being pumped into him, he just breaks down completely. Leaving prison, he hears about Gotham and Batman, and that it's a city run by fear. It's a city run by fear of the bat. His own fear of this monstrous bat was put on a collision course with Batman. So to take him down, he knows Bane's smart. He's not stupid. He's smart. He knows full well he's going to have to fight smart to take down Batman. So to do it, he destroys the walls of Arkham, and he frees everyone that's in there. So it's a big story nightfall. So Scarecrow's released, Riddler's released, Poison Ivy, Clayface, the Joker, everyone, and they just run amok on Gotham. So it takes Batman months to round up all of the inmates of Arkham, and it's physically and mentally exhausting for him. Having to deal with the Riddler and the Joker, the mental strain is put on him, and then the physical strain of having to restrain the likes of Clayface and Killer Croc, and he's broken at this point. And Bane is known as the man who broke the bat for two reasons. He breaks him mentally. So at this point, he is mentally exhausted. He has spent months chasing all of these books to put them all back in. physically he is exhausted, and it's at this point Bane does this to weaken the Bat. So when Batman's finally done, he returns home to Wayne Manor, and Bane is waiting for him. But Bane, again, super smart, has deduced who he is. So Bane is waiting for Batman at Wayne Manor to return from this very long thing, knowing he is at his physically weakest at this point. Bane's smart, played the long game. Mentally broken, now he's going to break him physically. So Bane attacks Batman and kicks his ass. And it ends with Bane breaking the Bat over his knee. Picks him up like a wrestling move, hence the luchador mask. Bang! Snaps him over his knee, paralysing Batman. And Bane is the man who broke the Bat. Bane very quickly becomes king of Gotham. He is the number one. And in Batman's absence, new pretends the throne take the reins. So Azrael takes up the throne as the new Batman, who I want to say is called Grayson. I'm not sure. I'll have to check that. It's been a long time since I read this. But the new Batman takes up the mantle. He does defeat Bane, but goes into overdrive, which is what Azrael's like, and he is just pounded on him whilst Bane is defeated, which isn't something Batman would do. I mean, he's causing lacerations and massive, stands him down, but that's a story for another day. Batman does eventually come back. He rehabilitates, comes back, and he does defeat Bane in one-on-one combat. He does eventually defeat Bane. He learns about who his father is, King Snake, and goes looking for him, and that's kind of the last we see of Bane for a while. And then Bane spends the next few years as this weird kind of ally of Batman's. So he's sometimes friend, sometimes foe. Bane has issue with other villains of Gotham. Bane and Killer Croc had an insane fight. That was a hell of a fight. But there's so much more to him than how he's portrayed in movies and TV shows and games, which typically he's just kind of the big thug henchman, and that's what you get. So even in Dark Knight Rises, we'll come to that. In Batman and Robin, 1997, this was the first on-screen version of Bane. He is literally henchman. That is all he is reduced to. He is Poison Ivy's henchman. He was played by a wrestler called Jeep Swenson, who sadly died before Batman and Robin was released. But he is unbelievably two-dimensional. He just spits out one-word things like Lurch from the Addams Family. Doesn't really say anything. Walks around looking big and impressive, but isn't big and impressive. It's Batman and Robin is a ridiculous film, but again, we will discuss that at a later date. But this is what he looks like in Batman and Robin. That was thankfully forgotten. We then moved on to Dark Knight Rises, where Tom Hardy played Bane. Now, I'm not taking anything away from that performance at all. It's a great Bane as a movie Bane. As a version of the comic book Bane, nope, not at all. Because he's portrayed as the mastermind of this whole thing. Before we learn he's actually just the henchman. He's Talia al Ghul's henchman. That's all he is. He's reduced to henchman by the end of the movie. And once that revelation happens, he goes from being this unstoppable force to Catwoman shoots him with a bat pod, and that's it. And you think, really? It's my main criticism of Dark Knight Rises. Bane is just gone like that, and you're like, all that for that? They just snub him out. They're like, forget him, like he's a red herring, and he's just gone from the movie at that point. And I just thought, what a bit of a anticlimax. There are clearly similarities between Nightfall and his original backstory in Dark Knight Rises, but the Nolan trilogies changed a lot of the background of these characters, and you can see it borrowed from certain points. So Bane being the child that was raised in the prison actually becomes Talia al Ghul being the child that was raised in the prison, and so on and so forth. But another thing as well that happened with it is whitewashing, because Bane has been played twice on screen by a white British man and a white American. When Bane was Hispanic, that's the way it is. Bane comes from South America. It's just the way it is. So he should have been played by a Latin American actor. He just should have. But it is what it is. I like the portrayal of Bane in Dark Knight Rises. I do. I've met Tom Hardy through a work thing, and the most surprising thing for me is I'd seen the movie before I met him. I'm 6'4". Tom Hardy barely comes to my chin. So Tom Hardy's about, I would say at a push, 5'9", maybe? Possibly 5'10", but I'd say he's about 5'9". He's little, Tom Hardy, seriously little. Nails, rock hard, tough, strong. You can feel the strength when you shake his hand. He's a bloody strong man. And he did put all that bulk on, but I was expecting him to be like 7 foot. I haven't seen him in the movie. I'm like, so I can only deduce from that he stood on a lot of boxes in those movies. He's got to be. He has to be. He's either wearing built-up shoes or they've got him on boxes. They must, because he looks bloody enormous in those films. He really does. But Bane is a favourite character of mine. Again, Nightfall was a story that came out when I was about 12, I think, and it was just unbelievable. It was shocking when he broke the bat. It was shocking, and a hell of a character. And I hope one day he gets a version on film that's more true to the character, and we get to see that. And I think that's true of a lot of Batman movies. I'd like to see a lot more of them that are true to the character, but I'd also like to see characters we haven't seen yet that deserve some screen time. And I kind of hope we see that. I really do, because there are so many just amazing Batman villains that just don't get the screen time because some executive somewhere's gone Joker. Every time it's kind of... Superman's guilty of it as well. They can't make a Superman movie without putting Luthor or Zod in it. They just can't do it. It's every single Superman movie they make has either got Lex Luthor or Zod in it. I think with the exception of Superman 3, every Superman movie has either had Lex Luthor or Zod or both of them in it. Every single one. Which is sad, really. I mean, there are a lot more than 2 villains, and it's the same with Batman. You just hear, like on the Big 5, there are hundreds of Batman villains. Hundreds. Fantastic ones, and we will talk about some of the lesser known ones on this channel. That is all for this one. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we will be back in February with parts 3 and 4 of the Dark Knight Tumbler. I will catch you then. Remember, Gotham needs us.